Hello guys, welcome to another video. Hey guys, make yourself comfortable. Today is more of another kind of laid back video. I have been wanting to do some kind of like different video ideas on this channel, so that is where today's video was born. So fun fact about me, I have tried to do a tier ranking video literally so many times in the past, but I think I may be an idiot who doesn't know how to make tier ranking things on the tier ranking website, and so I just never have because I can never make a template. But today, so many of you guys, when I asked like a few days ago over my Instagram, so this is a sign for you to follow my Instagram because I do Instagram stories asking you guys for recommendations, what videos you guys want to see, and a bunch of different things to be involved in the channel on there, so go follow me on there. But anyway, so many of you guys said that you wanted to see me rank book talk books, so here we are. We're going to do that today. So I just went on to the tier ranking website and I just went and found somebody's template and used it. So here we go. Okay guys, so you will see all of these books that are in the bottom tier. I will explain that in a second, but first of all, we are going to talk about my tiers that I have. So we're going to start from bottom to the top. So the first one is haven't read / adding to my TBR, which I will go through in a second because there are a lot of books in there. And then I have severely overhyped. So these are categorized for the books that literally everyone and their mom recommends on Book Talk, and they do not live up to the ever-ending hype of my For You page. The second one is don't ask me about this book because I will say I never read it. This is just simply a book that I didn't like and I just won't talk to you about it. And then we have mid, because it's like not bad, but it's not extremely good. And then we have Debbie Ryan Eartuck because it's good. And then we have the I think about this book in my sleep. I dream about this book. I absolutely love this book. These are my like 4.5 to 4.75 star books. And then of course we have my no book living, can or will ever compare, and I refuse to think differently. So let's get into it. The only thing that I kind of hate about this is that I wanted to make my own tier ranking thing and I just can't. Like, it never works for me. I looked up so many tutorials and it's not working for me because I would have put like Love in Other Words, I would have put a bunch of books. So we have a very big category of the haven't read / adding to my TBR. So I'm going to go through these really quick and tell you the ones that I haven't read and then the ones that I'm going to add to my TBR. So I haven't read The Dare, Girl in Pieces, If We Were Villains, whatever this is right here, The Time Traveler's Wife. I have read that, but it was like such a long time ago. Whatever this is, I think it's like The Last Time We Say Goodbye. Although we cannot see, The Poppy War, Touch of Darkness, The Ones We Were Meant to Find, Carry On, The Priority of the Orange Tree, Defy the Night, The Henna Wars, Aristotle and Dante Discovered Secrets of the Universe, Daughter of a Pirate King, This Is Where It Ends, Crying Age, Smart Honey Girl, Ace of Spades, Circe, The Starless Sea, Renegades, Nothing, Jupiter, Orbiting, why do I think is it Nothing? The Year After You, Heartless, whatever the Foxes County, I don't know. The Last Thing He Told Me, Summer Sons, Red Queen, Vicious, whatever this one is. Not to Be Liked, She Who Became the Sun, whatever this one is. Dance of Thieves, The Firestar's Daughter, I think this is Skeeth or something. We Had the Flame, blah, blah, blah. So I just haven't read those and I don't really see myself picking those up and reading them at least anytime soon. But ones that I do have like on my TBR that I haven't read yet is Punk 57, You've Reached Sam, To Love Jason Thorne, The Secret History, Red, White, and Royal Blue, ACOTAR, Better Than the Movies by Lynn Painter. I just can't find that anywhere like to buy it. I wanted to buy it so many times, but I also want the paperback of it. So Heartstopper, I actually want to do a reading vlog with the Heartstopper books because the Heartstopper series just came out on Netflix, so I want to read those. Six of Crows, I'm literally going to be reading that sometime in the near future. Pride and Prejudice is one of the classics that I want to read. This Is How You Lose the Time War is another one that I want to read. Carball is literally on my TBR. And I think that is it. for that. Now we can move on to the books that I have read. So let's get into the very excitingness of this. Okay, first we have The Invisible Life of Attie LaRue. I just feel like I had to say that in a British accent. I don't know why. It's weird because I would have classified this as one of my 5-star reads, but as I have grown as a reader, I think I'm going to put this in Debbie Ryan ear tuck, because normalize growing and changing ratings of books that you have read once you have read other books. This was one of the first books that got me back into reading. I had like taken a long period of time, like maybe not a year, but like almost a year, where I wasn't really reading that much. I found Book Talk, and this was like one of the most recommended books at the time. I think this was the Book Talk book at the time. So I got it and I rated it 5 stars because I was new to the systems. I would still probably say this is like a 4-star, but I feel like I would put it at that, but I still do love that book. Oh, You're Perfect by Colleen Hoover. Okay, I just really need to not say that. I definitely will say mid. So I don't absolutely hate this book. Contrary to popular opinions, people think that I hate this book just because I said it wasn't my favorite. I just like the trope in this book. So it just was like, it wasn't redeemable for me. I didn't really enjoy the main character. I think her name is Quinn, because it's Quinn and Graham. I liked Graham and like the flashbacks of like how their relationship was, but I didn't really enjoy either of them, so it's mid for me. Conversations with Friends by Sally Rooney. We all know how I feel about this. I'm gonna say it is severely overhyped, because that is exactly how I feel. Wall of Winnipeg and Me. Where should we put this? I would say Debbie Ryan ear tag as well. Yeah, I do like it. This was the first Mariana Zapata book I read, so it's kind of the same thing where like I rated this a 5 stars because I was thoroughly enjoying it, but I've read other Mariana Zapata books and other books literally just since this, and I'm like, it's more of like a 4 stars for me. So it's definitely, it does have me Debbie Ryan ear tucking though. Lucy Foley's The Guest List. I read this sometime last year, and I'm just gonna put it in don't ask me about this book because I will say I never read it. So this one, I feel like this one seems a lot more aggressive than severely overhyped, but it's above it because it's more of like a, I don't really remember it, / I didn't really like it that much, so you won't hear me talking about it, but it's not like overhyped necessarily. It was just kind of like, eh. All the Bright Places. This is easily for me. I think about this book in my sleep. Not because it is a 4.5 or a 4.75, but because genuinely I do think about this book in my sleep and the movie. I genuinely think that they did a good job with the movie adaptation of this book. We Were Liars by E. Lockhart. I'm putting this in severely overhyped. This was another book that I just didn't really understand the hype. We're all people. We've all been there. The plot twist is what really makes this book a very hyped up book on Book Talk, because it like comes out of nowhere, which I will admit it does. The Silent Patient by The Silent Patient by Alex Michaelides. I can never pronounce his last name. I'm so sorry. I will definitely also put this in. I think about this book in my sleep. So I used to be a super big thriller reader as well. Back in October, I only read thrillers. It was like a challenge for myself, and definitely burnt myself out literally up until this point. Like, I still don't think I've picked up a thriller since then. Silent Patient will forever be my top tier thriller. He writes amazing thrillers. He has The Silent Patient and The Maidens. I think those are the only 2 I've read from him. I think those are the only 2 he's written, but I could be very severely wrong. The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. Where should I put this? Unpopular opinion, I'm putting this in mid, because I've stated before, I thought it was entertaining, but I didn't love it. I wasn't in love with this book, and I never really think about it. A Little Life. It's easily going in no book living can or will ever compare, and I refuse to think differently. I love A Little Life. It's one of my 5-star reads. I want to recommend this book to everybody, that it has a very heavy dark subjects and is very triggering, so look up those if you're interested in reading this. It is a very emotional book. The Maddest Obsession is also going to go into severely overhyped. I read this in my first 24-hour readathon vlog that I did, and it was just like, it was so bland to me. I don't know why people love it. The Hating Game. This takes me back to like when I first started reading again last year, and I'm gonna put this in Debbie Ryan ear tuck again. I feel like this really like puts into perspective like books for me. But what I was saying was that, you know, once you like discover book talk, you kind of go through like the front list. You go through the Hating Game, the beach reads, the people we meet on vacation, the It Ends With Us, the Ugly Love, you know, like you go through all of that and then you kind of dive deeper into like the stuff that not everybody's talking about. The Hating Game was definitely one of those for me, and I remember absolutely loving this book so much for like months afterwards, and I still love this book. But I don't think about this book in my sleep, I just love it. So it's Debbie Ryan ear tucking for me. Where the Crawdads Sing. This is getting the movie adaptation. Cannot wait to watch it because I love this book. So this is going in Debbie Ryan ear tuck as well. I love this book. Like I've stated before, can't wait for the movie. And this book is like advertised as a thriller, but to me it's not really a thriller. Like I feel like you don't get to the thriller until like more than midway through the book. I feel like for a lot of the book you're learning about her life. From Blood and Ash by Jennifer L. Armentrout. I'm also going to put this in, don't ask me about this book because I will say I never read it. Because I did read it, I think it was like free on Libby one time, and I just like wanted to read a book and I knew people talk about this. So I picked it up and read it, and it was like fairly decent, but I really don't remember a lot from it. Shadow and Bone. I actually just read this month, so you will hear more about that in my April wrap up. I'm going to put this in, see, I rated it a 4 stars. But we're gonna put it in mid. The Spanish Love Deception. How funny. Yeah, you're immediately no. Immediately no. I've seen what I need to see, immediately no. The Deal, off-campus series #1. I'm going to put this in Debbie Ryan ear tuck as well. It's definitely my favorite off-campus book. Definitely my favorite off-campus couples, Garrett and Hannah. But it's not, I'm not thinking about this book in my sleep because I don't think off-campus could do that for me. It's just not that deep of a romance for me. Twisted Love. I read this at the beginning of this year. So funny. I'm also gonna put this in Debbie Ryan ear tuck. I feel like a lot of things fall into this category of like a 3.5, 4 star for me. Twisted Love, I did thoroughly enjoy. And I'll leave it at that. Oh, You Deserve Each Other by Sarah Hogle. Oh my god. Oh my god. It's immediately going to, I think about this book in my sleep. Oh, I really did love this book. I don't know if people loved this book like I did, but I really liked it. I do think about them from time to time. Like they're a book that I think about. I don't know what about this book. I just love some rom-com books. The Love Hypothesis. We're also going to go into Debbie Ryan ear tuck. I love The Love Hypothesis. I do. A lot of people think it's cringy. I know. I understand where it's cringy, but I love it. From Lukov with Love. Oh. We're going to be putting this in, I think about this book in my sleep, because I do routinely go into my little brain and take memories from this book out. The Fine Print. Oh. No.
Prince is usually defined as a non-reigning male member of a royal family. For more, ask me to give you more definitions for prince.
Oh, okay. I get why she just said that, because I said the fine print and she thought I said define prints. That happens to me way too often, I swear. Fine print, I would say, is I think about this book in my sleep. I do routinely go back to Rowan and Zara. Beach read, it's just one of those. No book living can or will ever compare. I refuse to think differently. I 100% agree. Love Beach Read, love Emily Henry. I literally have Book Lovers pre-ordered and it will be at my house on May 3rd. Shadow Me. This is also going in severely overhyped. I read this, was it in February? I think, yeah, it was in February I read this. Just Didn't love it. Throttled by Lauren Asher. Oh my gosh, literally. I think about this book in my sleep. This is another book that I do very, very much think about. Love. Cannot wait to read the rest of the series. Normal People, we know where this is going. Severely overhyped as well. Did not enjoy this book. Leaving it at that. I'm gonna say Debbie Wright Ear Tuck. I do love this book. Another, Adam Silvera is writing another book. I don't know quite sure if it's out yet, but it's like literally him using the same idea of the death cast, but where everyone was complaining about, you could have done this and this with it. He's doing it, so I cannot wait to read that book. I don't know if it's out yet, but I cannot wait to read that. The Cruel Prince is also going into severely overhyped for me. Not a lot of people know that I read that series. Not series. I just read the one book and then Googled how the rest of the series goes because I knew I wasn't ever going to read it. But the book ends on a cliffhanger, so I kind of wanted to know, but I didn't want to read the rest of the books. One of like my first book videos that I uploaded on this channel, I read this. It was like my book talk, like reading book talk books. And I read this and I didn't like it. Verity by Colleen Hoover. I'm gonna put this in mid because like I've said before, I enjoyed it, thought it was entertaining, but it was so predictable for me. The Song of Achilles. I'm just kidding. Song of Achilles. I'm gonna say it. For me, it's severely overhyped. It is. I thought it was beautiful writing. I'm not into Greek mythology, so not for me. The Unhoneymooners by Christina Lauren. This is another book that I was like heavily loving. It was like right in the beginning era of my book talk phase. This is another one of those that you read because you're on book talk. And I'm going to say Debbie Wright Ear Tuck. The Kiss Quotient. I do think about this book a lot and I want to get the physical copy of it. Like I just need it on my shelf. And I think about this book in my sleep. I do. I absolutely adore that book. I don't know why. I just picked it up on a whim one day, read it, loved it. After by Anna Todd. Oh my god. If there's like someone out there who like genuinely enjoys the After series and the movies, not me. It's severely overhyped for me. I think it's weird. I can never get past, I read all of them on Wattpad, but I can never get past that Anna Todd was like writing this severe fanfic about Harry Styles. Daisy Jones and the Six. It's another book where I think about this book in my sleep because if you've read it, you know just everything that happens in that book. It just tugged on some heartstrings. Ugly Love. You guys know. Some of y'all are about to be real mad at me, but it's severely overhyped for me, love. I've talked about how I don't like Miles. I do plan on rereading this book. I might reread it in May or June. It will definitely be in one of those two. I don't remember a lot from this book. I'm so tired. I've been seeing like people post like quotes and stuff that I just don't remember. And so I was like, I need to read it, but I could just remember just not enjoying Miles and Tate. This is not really a spoiler, but if you haven't read November 9th, then maybe skip ahead. But when I saw them or read them in November 9th, it did make me happy though, to see how good he was doing with her. Oh my god, wait. Not me at the beginning of this video being like, I would have put Love and Other Words in here, and it is, because I just saw that it was. I'm such an idiot. The Inheritance Games, as well as the Debbie Wright Ear Tuck. I do love that series. Short chapters, super easy to get through, literally so good. If you haven't read The Inheritance Games, please do read it. A Good Girl's Guide to Murder. I'm gonna say mid. But just because like I did read this book, I haven't read the rest of the series. It's literally been sitting on my TBR cart since January and just haven't picked it up. I did read it, thought it was entertaining, but there was just a little bit too much going on for me. The Atlas 6, I'm also going to say this was, I'm going to put it in mid. There were parts of this book that I enjoyed, but there were so many parts where I was genuinely so confused as to what was going on, didn't understand anything. And a lot of people say that this is an academic rivals to lovers. Am I the only one who didn't sense a romance between, what's his name, Nico, and like the girl that's always went to school with him, whatever her name is? Am I the only person that did not sense a romance brewing between them? Malibu Rising by Taylor Jenkins Reid. I'm also going to put this in Debbie Wright Ear Tuck. It's one of my favorite Taylor Jenkins Reid's books. The Vanishing Half by Britt Bennett. I'm also going to put this in mid, which sounds harsh. It was a very, very amazing book though. So you're like, but I never think about this book. Like, I'm never like, oh my god, that book was like so amazing. But when I read it, I thought it was very good. But it, like, you know when you read a book and you're like, that was good, but like, I probably won't ever really think about this again. November 9th by Colleen Hoover. Some of y'all are gonna be real mad at me because for some reason, a lot of you guys don't like this book, but I do think about this book in my sleep. I love Ben and Fallon, and a lot of people have been posting about this book on TikTok recently, and I love it. It Ends With Us by Colleen Hoover is another book that I think about in my sleep. It's so funny how like when a book can go popular on Book Talk, like all you see is like people absolutely loving it. Like, I love this book, I love this book, I love this book. Like, It Ends With Us, everyone was like, I love it, I love it, I love it. And now when you hear people talk about It Ends With Us, it's more of like a they don't like it sort of thing. But I will always love It Ends With Us. It has a special place in my aorta. Love in other words. You guys know what's going on. It is a no book living can or will ever compare, and I refuse to think differently. It's one of my 5-star favorite books. If you haven't read this book, literally get up right now, order it, take it off your shelf, go read it, and then come back to this video and finish it. Every last word. I actually read this book in like a summer or two ago. Yeah, 2 summers ago, and I didn't even know it was popular on Book Talk. I would say mid. I do actually really like this book, but like I rarely think about it. I think about it very few and far between. The plot twist in this book caught me off guard. The last book is A Thousand Boy Kisses by Tilly Cole, and I'm gonna say severely overhyped because I didn't really enjoy it. I thought it was very immature, and I never think about it. Literally never think about it. So here's our finished tier list. I will be honest, a lot of the books took up the I haven't read them. So I don't know. I feel like I've read a lot of books that are talked about on Book Talk though, but I guess I haven't. But I also don't read fantasy, and when Book Talk first became like a thing, it was just fantasy really talked about on there. There are a lot of books on this that I will be reading. Here are all of the books that I have read and that we're ranking. So maybe you guys disagreed with me. You know, these videos are always fun, but hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up down below. If you guys like me, you guys know what to do. Subscribe, like, notification bell, comment. Go follow me on my other social medias. Go look in the description at all of my social medias and everything that I have linked if you want. But I feel like you should. But if you don't want to, that's fine as well. I always keep on circling back saying I hope you guys enjoyed this video because I genuinely do. I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope this was entertaining and fun for you all. And with that being said, comment down below your guys' opinions on Book Talk books. I will see you guys when I see you. Peace.